Um, well, we were ready to fight. I think we picture RMC as a scrappy team, despite maybe being a little less physical than us. We're ready to fight. We're ready to get pushed by them, and I think that was pretty true in the first set. I think maybe our start was a little bit loose, but we picked up our wind in the second and third set and showed how Mac plays volleyball.
What was the turning point for you guys? Obviously, they were with you up midway through the first set there. What kind of turned it on for you guys?
I think the main thing we took out of the first set is just limit our mistakes, and I think once we took care of that, the points started coming our way. So, yeah.
So coming from Poland, I know this volleyball journey has been a pretty unique path for you. What drew you to McMaster, and how do you feel it's impacted your career?
To put it very shortly, I was here for a 2-week trip. Really got the taste of a culture. Saw how good the team was. Saw the coaching stuff, and was a pretty simple decision for me to sign with McMaster. And I'm really excited to finish my last year this season.
And then I'm not sure if this might have been asked already, but in terms of Woj, I mean, having worked with Dave over the years, kind of, what's the impact, the biggest impact he's had on your career and your life, I guess?
I think the biggest impact he's put into me is really like changing my mentality, if you want to call it changing me from a boy to a man. Really making me think of a sport like a professional athlete should. I think that's the biggest takeaway, despite the skills I learned here. So.
And then just to follow on that, I mean, like what an example of that is, I guess.
Just taking care of the details. Paying attention to the smallest things like post-game cool down, like diet, and all the small things that you gotta take care of as an athlete to really perfect your physique for every single game and be ready for whenever your name is called to be played.
How did you feel about seeing Happen play tonight?
Oh, it was really fun to watch him. I didn't see him play that much. I think I recall playing him in the preseason. I'm really happy for him because he had a pretty good game, it's good to see him. He's got to get used to the court time for next season for sure. So it was good seeing him on the court. Thank you.
So 3-0 sweep tonight over RMC. We saw some different rotations than what we're used to seeing. What do you think it does for your team's chemistry to get some different guys in the lineup?
Yeah, I mean, we're a really deep team, so you can't really go wrong with no matter really who's out there. And tonight we showcased that, and I think the biggest thing would probably be like trusting your teammate out there, whatever the lineup is. It brings us all together a lot closer.
So you've played under Coach Preston for 6 seasons now, I believe?
Yeah, long time.
How would you sum up what he's meant to your growth as a player and as a person?
I always say this to everyone who asks me like about Dave, and I answer back saying, other than my own dad, Dave's the only man who's ever made me cry. And it's a pretty hard thing to do, but in a good way. He's one of the most genuine people I've ever met. He's taught me so much about how to be a pro, how to approach the game professionally, and there's no way I'd be here where I am today without Dave Preston.
And I mean, just following up on the mention, there's a man who made you cry. I mean, what is it kind of like? You can recall an instance where that happened.
Yeah. So in my first couple of years, I wasn't playing a lot here, and in my third year, we had a big mid-season tournament called the Can-Am tournament where we played like other really strong teams, and I finally got some playtime there, and it just did not go well at all for me. Like, I played really bad, and I remember after the game, Coach Preston pulled me aside and really just ripped into me for what felt like a whole hour or forever, really. But I think that was a huge turning point in me. Just like I could feel the desire in his tone and his messaging of he wanted me to succeed, and it was just so genuine, and I really appreciate that from him.
And then, just to follow up on that, I mean, as you mentioned, after that happened, how did that kind of compel you in terms of to improve as a player, to go forward from there, I guess?
Well, everything about my game changed. What I did day to day, how I approached it. But the biggest thing was mindsets, for sure. Dealing with adversity.
So I'd say it's pretty clear that like Dave made a pretty big impact on your time at Mac. As a graduating player, what kind of impact do you hope that you've left on the program?
Hopefully a good one. I like to think that people are starting to see all the hard work that I put in, and I'm hoping that others can take bits and pieces of that and implement it into their games.
Yeah, tomorrow's senior night. I know you guys have a lot of volleyball left to play, and you expect to make a deep run here. But I imagine that'll be a pretty cool moment for you and your teammates to kind of celebrate what you've done over the last several years here.
Mm-hmm.
What are you going to remember most about this chapter of your career?
I mean, if you think about it, it's been like a good quarter of my life to this point, being in university. So, I mean, feels like I've been here forever, but in a good way, right? Like, what we have here is really special, obviously in the volleyball program, but just as a university as a whole. And I really appreciated my whole time here, working with amazing people every day.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
All right. We're here with senior Jason Wildeboer. Jason, solid effort tonight from the guys in the first half of back-to-back. What's the game plan going to a doubleheader with the same team, and how does it change how you guys prepare over the course of the week?
Yeah, I think it's really important that whenever we're facing any opponent, we maintain and like really focus on trying to be the best on our side. It doesn't matter who's necessarily on the other side, but we have to come in with the same mentality and give them the respect that they deserve, whether it's the number one team in the country or another team, whatever that is. Just maintaining our pressure and our consistency because we owe it to every single opponent. So.
Yeah, and then just to build on what your teammates were talking about in terms of given your relationship with Dave, is there kind of a story or a moment or an example that kind of that stands out that embodies that, I guess?
So I've only done 1 year here, and he's impacted my volleyball career in a way that is a lot more dramatic and like in a positive way than I thought. Like, he knows so much about the game, and like the other two have talked about, just the mentality of learning how to play at the next level is every little thing matters. The details are what makes you great. Like, it's not going to be if you can set a ball to the left side. It's going to be what makes you better in your head. Like, do you know the game plan? Do you know where this guy's going? It's a giant game of chess at the end of the day. Like, you're going to have to take gambles at times, and there's always going to be little weaknesses, but it's about learning to manage those.
And then just to follow up, you mentioned with details-wise, I'm curious for you, over time kind of thing, like how do you feel like you're able to kind of hone in on more of those details? Like what's that kind of thought process like?
Yeah, I think Woj mentioned it, just the cool downs, the warm-up, the attention to every single rep in the gym, no matter if it's Tuesday afternoon or you're about to play in the national quarterfinal. You're dialed in and you're ready for whatever's happening. You're engaged. And that would be the biggest thing for me.
Setters are like affect a lot of what happens on the court, right? So as a junior setter, whenever you get subbed in on the court, are there like nerves? How do you feel in that getting put into that situation?
Yeah, like setters have a lot of impact for sure. I would say that just being ready to be called on and do what you're asked of, you just got to do it.
So as a graduating player, how does it feel being able to watch your younger teammates succeed, especially in a game when they were able to get more players on the rotation? Like, you can tell that everyone's really excited for having Jack when they're out on the court.
Yeah, it's really fun for those guys, and it's really fun for all of us to be able to stand and support them. Like, they've put in the same amount of work we all have, and to see the fruits come of that is really exciting. To be able to set Jack in his first OUA kill is pretty fun. So
you come over from Redeemer after a 4-year career. I know this is only your first year here, but what are you going to remember most about this stretch of your career?
Yeah, the brothers and the dedication and just the grind, to put it bluntly. Like, there's times like this is a grind. It's a full-time job. Like, we spend so much time in that gym. A lot of people don't see it. Like, yeah, it's really a pleasure to be able to surround myself with the guys that we have here and just go to work every single day. Like, that's what makes it enjoyable. It's not, like, at the end of the day, it's just a sport. Like, yeah, it's the guys that make the sport enjoyable, right? Like, so.
Awesome. Thank you, Jason.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, Jason.
Thank you.
We're here with head coach Dave Preston. Dave, first game back at first tonight since you announced your retirement, and of course a really nice tribute to your time at McMaster before the match. Take us first through those few moments, what those were like for you and your family.
Wow. It's hard to describe, actually. You're talking about 20 years of life in a 5-minute recap. It makes you think, that, decisions like this, I think it forces you to reflect and connect. And I think that's kind of something that's been standing out to me as I look back at those pictures and see those people and how much they've meant to me in my career and reflect on that. And thankfully, I'm still connected to almost everyone in that video. So, yeah, it's been like nothing I've ever experienced before. I mentioned him, quickly. Tom Brady says you only get one chance at one big emotional speech, and I didn't want to do that tonight before the match. I don't think that's fair to the student athletes, and there will be a time when I'll be able to get all gushy and emotional and stuff, but I didn't really think that tonight would have been an appropriate way to do it. But I tell you what, that video sure pushed that limit for me.
To the game, a bit of a slow start tonight. Ultimately, you guys took care of business in 3. A few different pieces for your lineup getting some reps tonight. What did you see out of those guys tonight?
A lot of times I've said, you can build consistency or you can build depth, and oftentimes they don't always line up, but tonight it did. We started to move some pieces around and we never got choppy. That's a really, really good characteristic to have for a team. So it was, in the past when you make a lot of those moves as a coach, you're like, okay, this could get a little rough, but we'll weather it, and they didn't. So, but they've been training like that for the last 3 weeks too. So it's starting to become habitual. So that's very pleasing to me that level is stabilizing itself, and those pieces in the machine just kind of keep it rolling. So it was a pretty cool feeling to watch that happen tonight.
Yeah, and then Dave, I guess just going back to the decision to retire in terms of, I'm curious in terms of for you, how did that kind of and the timing of it how did that kind of come about in terms of?
When you get old, you have to retire. That's how it works. I'm old now. I spent 30 years coaching collegiate volleyball. 20 of them here and 9 at Western, or 21 here and 9 at Western. And that's 30 years of grinding. And so, yeah, it's time to turn a page. So very, very thankful for every opportunity I've had, all the relationships that I've made. But, hey, you know what? You get old, you got to retire. So that's kind of how it works.
And then just one follow-up on top of that, and I'm curious in terms of how much was the Australian kind of dropping, how much of that was a factor?
0. Yeah, those decisions are separate completely. I don't know what's in front of me. I know that there's some opportunities for sure, but right now my focus is on our McMaster guys and finishing this year. And I think getting those two things intertwined would be not fair to either. I got to finish this job. And so in my mind, they're very, very clear.
Tomorrow's senior night. You've got 3 graduating seniors. Each have made their own unique marks on this program in their time here. Talk a little bit about those 3 guys and what they've meant to this program.
Yeah, I haven't had Jason around very much. This is only his first year. He's spent some years at Redeemer down the road, so, but his impact was positive right away. Woj, I don't know where I start with that guy. Like, the sacrifices that he's made to be here, and his family has made to be here, it's unbelievable. He's just such a great young man, obviously very skilled, but we have a really strong interpersonal connection as well, and just knowing how much it means to him to be here it's pretty impacting on me. And Mateusz, this will be my final season at the helm, but I don't know what it would be like without him, because he's been a staple here for as long as I can remember right now. So, but just watching his progress coming in as a freshman, and then having to deal with all the stuff that he's had to deal with, and then moving him around in positions, and then him making that transition to the National Beach Program last summer, and then him having the kind of season that he's having right now. It's just that's just a success story that will always resonate in my mind for as long as I'll look back on the Maroon. So.
And then in terms of, you mentioned in terms of, obviously, because we were just talking of the seniors there, they talked about kind of the relationship they've had with you and stuff. I'm curious, from the relationship you have with them and even with all the players, what part of it do you think is most memorable about that, or you enjoy the most about that relationship?
I think the maturity is probably the most memorable. Just watching them come in and then watching them go out. I think the two hardest things as a coach, as a collegiate coach, are one, telling a young man in tryouts that we don't have an opportunity for him. That's really, really hard for me. So, not allowing somebody to chase their dream. That's difficult. And the next one is watching them go out the door on you when they're graduating. Those are the two hardest things for me. But the silver lining to that is, knowing where they came from and where they're going and what path they're going to be moving forward on. Although it's in a different arena, like, those three guys are going to be successful no matter what they do, as are many others that have graduated out of here. So just really, really proud. And the one thing as a coach, the coach-athlete relationship has to be definitive, right? You can be friendly, but you can't be friends. Do you know what I mean? And now that those guys are graduates and they're alumni, like, I look at some of the alumni that were there tonight, and they're friends. You know what I mean? So I think that's part of it, is that you get to maintain. I'll leave the position, but I get to take those relationships with me.
So, proud obviously of it when Jack got on the court tonight and got his first kill. So how does that make you feel about the boys that you're leaving behind and the legacy you left for them?
Jack and Haben, both tonight, eh? I thought that was in my mind, there's certain definitive criteria that you know when your culture is working properly, and when you see how much work these guys have to put in from Monday to Thursday, and then they go out and they do that job, and their teammates and the fans are so supportive, and it's just so genuine. Like, it's just raw emotion that Haben got his first kill and the team went crazy, and Jack gets his first kill and the team goes crazy. That's where you're like, they know how much work those guys had to put in to earn that time on the floor, and trying to earn time on our floor right now is hard. There's a lot of guys who want on that floor, and they're not willing to give it up, and that's hard. But those guys earned it, and they got it tonight, and I was so genuinely, I felt joy knowing that, they just, the team and the crowd just like, yeah, that's a moment. And, I think when Jack's head hit the pillow tonight, he's going to be all right.
Thanks, Dave.
All right. Thank you.